This is Blender. No, not that Blender. I mean this one. How long you been stuck with the same boring interface? Take a look at this setup. Clean, organized, and built for speed. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn your plain Blender into a sleek pro-level workspace. We'll install a fresh theme, tweak a few key settings, and upgrade your workflow with the must-have tools. It's not just about looking good. It actually makes everything faster and easier. Just like customizing a layout in a game to play like a pro. Same here. Let's get started. First, let's install Blender. Once it's done, open it freshly. Great. Now, we are ready to customize. Let's start with a fresh theme. Go to Edit, Preferences, and Themes. We need a theme file, so open your browser and search for Blender themes. Click the first link and you'll see a bunch of pre-made options. Scroll around and pick the one you like. I'm going with the Groovebox dock. Hit Get Theme and you'll see two choices. Drag and drop it straight into Blender or download it to your system. I recommend downloading. I've already done that, so back in Blender Preferences, I just click Install and select the file I downloaded. And done. We've got our new favorite theme installed. Next, let's clean up the viewport. Press T to hide the toolbar, then press A to select everything and X to delete it. Now let's adjust the viewport layout. Move your cursor to the edge until you see the icon change, then left click and drag it down. Next, go to the top right corner and drag it to the right, and finally adjust the bottom to fully capture the viewport. We'll now organize our workspace. Open a new tab on the left and switch it to Viewport to Outliner. Then open another tab at the bottom and switch it to Properties. I like to keep the viewport on the left and everything else on the right. Next, add a cube to the viewport. Then go to File, Default, and Save Startup Settings. This ensures that your new layout and the setting will load every time you open a new file. Next, let's tweak a few Blender settings to make it work smarter. Go to Preferences and let's start with the interface. I set the resolution scale to 1.04 to 1.05 for better text visibility. Toggle off the splash screen and also turn off the navigation control, since I don't really use that. Now go to Viewport, turn off Object Text and 3D Gizmo. Then set the anisotropy filter to 8x and Viewport Anti-Analyst to 16 samples, which gives a better resolution. We don't need to change anything else here, so let's go to Input. Enable Emulate Numpad, especially if you're using a laptop without a number pad. Next, in the navigation, enable Orbit Around Selection and Depth. For Key Map, switch the spacebar action to Search. Under System, choose a graphics card if you have one. Otherwise, just leave it. Finally, under Memory and Limits, set the understep to maximum, which is 256. That's it. Save your preference and we are ready to move to the next step. And one thing I forgot to mention is that this setup is for hot surface artists. So if you are someone who uses animation or VFX or sculpting, this setup might not for you, because this is fully focused on hot surface workflow. So the tools you install, the setting it takes is mainly for hot surface workflow. So that is the thing that you need to keep in your mind before you just move further. Now let's back to the customization. Alright, now go to the main window and click this little arrow. Enable Cavity and set the type to both. For world and screen space, I set the value to 1.5. Now click it again. Under Color, choose Single. Here you can pick any color you like, but I prefer tan orange to match the theme we installed. If you don't like it, you can always switch back to materials. It's completely up to your preference. Next, click the arrow next to overlay. Here you can turn off the floor to remove the grid and also turn off the X and Y axis to hide the red and green lines in your viewport. I personally like to keep them enabled, but it's your choice. Now save your file one more time, and next let's start installing add-on to speed up the workflow. So this is the upgrading phase. Since this Blender setup is mainly focused for modeling, I'm going to install the tools that are required. Go to extension and install a few add-ons. First, search for loop tools and install it. Then search for bool tool and install it that as well. Just make sure that you have access to internet connection, that way it will install all the add-ons. Next, we enable some paid tools. Switch to add-ons, click the little arrow, and first paid add-on we are going to install is box color. All the add-on links are in the description, so you can get them there. After that, I install machine tool, and finally install power save, which is free and helps preventing losing work if your Blender crashes. Hit the power icon and enable use autosave, which will save your work every 2 minutes. Now go to preference and find machine tools. Expand the add-on and under general setting, enable smart work, smart edge, smart face, cleanup, mirror, align and thread. For pie menu, just enable save pie and tool pie. Next, go to key map. Since we're using a laptop without a number pad, I'm replacing some keys. For example, smart edge to up arrow, cleanup to dot key, smart face to down arrow, and mirror to alt plus X. And that's it. All the add-ons are installed and the settings are updated. To make modeling faster and more efficient, as I mentioned earlier, this Blender setup is only for modeling. For texturing and rendering, I use Blender 4.0. This setup is mostly the same, but the add-ons are different. In this version, I fully focused on rendering. I make my models in Blender 4.4 and paste them into 4.0, so we don't load everything in one place. Make the workflow faster and easier. In this render-focused Blender, I installed decal machine for adding labels and decals to model for detailing, and for material and texturing, I use my own add-on, which is Matrix, which allows me to add materials instantly with full control. I also use machine tool, but only for adding cameras and for few shortcuts. Most of the tool settings are left as default. I only enable save pie, shading pie, view pie, and alignment pie. This makes it easier to set up the camera and manage other useful shortcuts. Finally, I installed Node Wrangler add-on, which is essential for setting up node efficiently. And that's all the add-on you need to install for texturing and rendering. Now let's make a few tweaks. Switch to Shading tab and select Wool. Delete an existing node and select the background node, hold Ctrl and press T. This adds 3 nodes automatically. Next, load your HDRI file by selecting it. This ensures that your HDRI is set up once and doesn't need to be added manually each time. Now, go to Compositing tab and enable Use Node. By default, you only have 2 nodes. Search for denoise node and plug it between the 2 existing nodes. Connect these sockets, for example, image to image, normal to normal, and so on. This setup helps reducing noise in your final render image, giving you a cleaner result. Now let's also optimize the output and rendering setting. So first, I'm going to start with output property. So here, I set the resolution to 2560 into 1440, which is a 16:9 ratio with 2K resolution. Then scroll down and in file format, you can set to any type you want, for example JPEG or TIFF. I'm going to set this to PNG. And under color, set it to RGBA. So A stands for alpha. When you render an image without a background, this will allow us to make it a transparent background image. So when you're editing using third-party software like Photoshop or any other software, this will be really useful. And color depth to 16, and that's all you need to change. And under output, you can just click this folder icon and choose the place where you want to save all your artwork. I just create a separated file called artwork and just choose cat location. Now let's move on to rendering setting. First, I switch my render engine to cycle for better quality. So if you have a GPU, if you have a powerful GPU, you can switch to GPU. That way your render will be really faster. And now let's come to sampling. For viewport, I set this max sample to 80 and for render, I set this to 120. I also set the noise threshold to 0.02. Next, let's scroll down and under light, just turn off the light tree, which will make the render faster. Come to light path and here you need to just left click and drag like this, then set all the value to 8, then volume to 0. Then scroll down and under, I don't know what you pronounce this, caustic. Anyway, just make sure that reflective and refractive is enabled. And then enable fast GI approximation, and you don't really have to tweak any settings here. Then scroll down and enable simplify. Then under viewport, I set the max subdivision to 3 and for render, I also set the same value. Next, expand filmic and make sure you enable transparent, especially if you're using a lot of HDRI, because without a transparent, this will actually bring out the background image from the HDRI, which we don't want. We only want to capture light from the HDRI. So now expand performance and then open this memory. I set the tile size to 4096, which is 64 x 64, and then under final render, enable persistent data. Now I don't really need to tweak anything in the color management because we use a third-party software, Adobe Lightroom, to edit the exposure and color correction. So I just leave the settings as default. And that's all the things that you need to change in rendering setting. Now switch back to viewport and go to file, default, and click on save storage file. So that way all the settings will be changed and you don't really need to tweak anything. And that's it. This is my full setup. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leave a comment below. And if you have any question related to this customization guide or any question about fast surface modeling, join our Discord server. And one thing interesting about our server is it's not very engaging. Yeah, it's quite not active, but one thing I could promise is that at any time, if you have any questions or any problem, you can just come there and chat. I would happily respond to you and our team will respond to you. Yeah, that is the one place, that is the one platform which actually connects us. So you can just join there, post your artwork, ask any personal questions or feedback, just do whatever you like, but just make sure to follow the rule. And that's all I wanted to share. I'll see you in my next video.